time to
Hello and welcome to Devon Park in beautiful Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm Jim Flanagan here with you for the 2025 USA Softball Men's Major National Championship, brought to you right here on Softball Premier TV. Just about ready to get underway with this one. Lineup card still coming in from one of the teams on the field. The home team for this one will be JDT. That's JDT First Energy out of Chippewa of the Thames up in Canada. They'll be the home team. Defensively, it'll be Scott Patterson out in left field, Jordan Pomeroy in center, Jonathan Lynch over in right. Around the infield, Justin Leskowski at third, Braden Ducharme from the USA squad. He'll play short, Brock Attewell over at second, and Jeff Lyons at first base. In the circle, Devin McCullough. And behind the plate, Cameron Watts. We are just about underway. Get ready for the first pitch, settle in, and make yourself right at home. We'll be with you the rest of the evening. Leading things off for the Via Arcos Misfits out of Houston, Texas. It'll be Kevin Reyes, the center fielder. He'll be followed by Juan Cruz Bambosi. List Correa will hit third. Fausto Silveria fourth. We'll get to the rest in a moment. That one's laced into the gap in left center field. It's going to roll all the way to the fence. Around second and holding with a double to lead things off is Kevin Reyes. Looked like a pitch that caught a little bit too much of the plate, and he laced it the other way, took a couple hops and a skip. And center fielder Jordan Pomeroy getting back to it. Slipped, it looked like, but managed to come up with it and keep Reyes at second base. So a runner aboard, first batter for Via Arcos, and that'll bring Juan Cruz Bambosi, the second baseman for the squad, to the plate. Stands in from the left side, his foot right on the back of that batter's box. Shows bunt, gets it down. It's going to be foul. Cameron Watts will chase that one down. Just underway in this 6 p.m. scheduled start for you Devon Park here in Oklahoma City. Beautiful softball complex. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. Infield in for JDT. That's Liskowski at third. Lyons at first, both charging when he shows bunt. Foul tip into the glove of Watts. So a ball and a strike. 2 games on tap for tonight on the broadcast from this field. 2 more going on at 6 and 8 p.m. off in the distance on field 4. So 4 broadcasts for all of you fastball fans here on opening night. That one's away. Again, the corner's closing. Attewell will chase Reyes back to the bag at second. A lot of these players fresh off of their World Cup tournament last week. Barely time to unpack the suitcases, and they're here in Oklahoma City for this one. Corners again. Coming halfway. That one's up and away. McCullough, longtime member of Team Canada. He pitched for them last week at the World Cup, pitched the week before that in Saskatoon at the Four Nations Cup. Pitched very well in that tournament. Led them to a victory. They were the winner of that 4-team pre-World Cup tournament. That one's in for a called strike, so it'll bring Bambuzzi back to the plate with a 3-2 count now. Corners back about even with the bag. Little change up and a slow roller. He'll have to hurry. Not in time. Good bunt by Bambuzzi. Got it right where he wanted it. A slow roller. So it took a while for the play to be made. By that time, the speedy Bamboozle safe down at first. Over to third is Kevin Reyes. So the first 2 batters aboard for the Misfits, and it'll bring List Corte, the left fielder for Villa Arcos. Ball away. McCullough, one of the veterans on Team Canada, their national team. We've been watching him since way back in 2008 when we saw him up in Whitehorse for the juniors. So a 13-year veteran of that program. Lots of experience in the circle. Hasn't quite settled in here this evening. Still looking for that first out. A little slow roller to Attewell. He'll come to the plate. Not in time to get the runner. So JDT still looking for the first out in the game. The run is in. Runners now at first and second, so it's List Corte over at first base. And Bambuzzi moved over to second base. Kevin Reyes cashing in with the first run. So the batter will be Fausto Silverio. He'll step in from the right side, the cleanup hitter and catcher for this Houston, Texas squad, giving JDT energy, first energy, all they can handle here in the top of the first inning. In for a called strike. That one right across the letters of Silverio. He's going to go down and have a chat with his coach at third base. JDT comes into the tournament with a number 5 ranking. The Misfits are unranked. So working on an upset right now. The count 0-1 to Silverio. Downstairs for a ball. That leaving the count at 1-1. Change-up stays upstairs. So McCullough still looking for the strike zone. Lots of innings pitched over the last couple of weekends. We mentioned the Saskatoon tournament before the World Cup. He was the mainstay for Canada winning that one, then pitched all week long in Prince Albert. So perhaps some of those innings taking a toll. There's a beautiful change-up, swing and a miss. A signature McCullough changeup, one of his best pitches. So the count now even at 2-2. Swing and a miss, threw that one right by him. So McCullough says, I'll get the first out myself, records it on a strikeout. Runner still at first and second, one out. It'll be Juan Echeveste, the first baseman for this Villa Arcos squad. That one's in on the outside part of the plate for a called strike. One run in, one out, so McCullough perhaps looking for a ground ball. Pitcher's best friend, double play to get it out of this inning and limit the damage to one. The first three batters for Villa Arcos reached base. There's the change-up again. That one stays downstairs. Downstairs for a ball. 2-1. Outfield is straight away. You'll notice they're playing deeper than those worn patches in the outfield where the women typically play. Fencing for the women, 200 down the line, 220 in straightaway center. For this tournament, 250 all the way around. Swing and a miss by Echeveste. There's a second fence you see off in the distance, also blue without lettering. That one's at 300. But the game fences are at 250 all the way around. Ball high. So McCullough again with a 3-2 count, falls behind. It's Bambuzzi with pretty good speed out at second base. Liscorte over at first. Change up, a slow roller picked up on a hop and over to Jeff Lyons. So Braden Ducharme to Jeff Lyons for the second out of the inning. Runners move up now at second and third. There you see the replay. Looked like a change-up, just a couple of hops. Picked up cleanly by Ducharme and makes the play for the out he needed. Here's Lucas Galarza. Galarza is the pitcher and batting for himself in this one. Good hard one in for a swinging strike. One run in for the Misfits if you joined us late. First three batters all reached base. McCullough now with a couple of outs trying to close things out and limit the damage to one. In for a called strike. Oh, 2 pitch. Swing and a miss, down on strikes. He goes and the side retired. For the Houston squad, Villa Arcos, they score a run. They leave a couple. We played a half inning. The score, Villa Arcos Misfits on top over JDT, 1-0. We'll come back with our first look at the offense for JDT.
Time to explore.
National championship from Devon Park here in Oklahoma City. Devon Park's main stadium and OGE Energy Field features state-of-the-art amenities including digital video boards, an upper deck, modern press facilities, which we are lucky enough to be sitting in, our eye in the sky looking down on the field. Field is operated by USA Softball and the host to the NCAA Women's College World Series. They draw a couple of 100,000 softball fans to the facility each year. And if you've been reading the papers or watching the news online, you know that yesterday the Olympic Committee released the dates for women's softball for the LA Olympics in 2028. And those will be held right here at Devon Park in Oklahoma City starting in July. So put that date on your calendar, just about 3 years to the day. Olympic softball right here in Oklahoma City. The offense for JDT will start off with Gendry Torres. He is only the number one hitter from the World Cup tournament. Batted a sizzling .692. He was 9 for 13, double, triple, a couple of home runs. Really turned a lot of heads in Prince Albert last week at that World Cup. So an addition, a very solid addition to the squad for JDT. He'll start things off. He hails from the Dominican Republic team. He'll be followed by Jordan Pomeroy. Scott Patterson will bat third. Jeff Lyons cleanup. Jonathan Lynch of the USA national team will bat fifth. Justin Leskowski sixth, Braden Ducharme seventh, Brock Attewell eighth, and Cameron Watts in the 9 spot. Defensively for the Villa Arcos Misfits, it's Corte. List Corte out in left, Kevin Reyes, who scored that first run, out in center. Ball off the plate taken by Gendry Torres. Win Chabon over in right field. Around the infield, Santiago Jacet. At third base, Gendro Correa. At short, Juan Cruz Bambuzzi. At second base, and Juan Echeveste over at first. Fausto Silverio behind the plate. And in the circle, Lucas Galarza. First of 2 broadcasts from this field. One more to follow at 8 p.m. That's Central Time. Adjust your clocks accordingly. So this one and one more. The nightcap will feature the number 3 ranked Northeast Drillers. They'll be taking on the St. Louis Honey Badgers. That one's scheduled for 8 p.m. Little flare. That one's going to be off the top of the dugout down there on the left side. Seating for 13,000 here in this softball stadium. It is regarded as the best and number 1 softball facility in the country, hence the choice for the LA Olympic Committee. One hopper back to the pitcher. He'll flip it over to Echeveste for the first out, and Gendry Torres retired. That'll bring Jordan Pomeroy to the plate. Jordan, a member of the Canadian national team that played in that World Cup last week. In on the outside part of the plate, taken for a strike. That one's lifted high but shallow in center field. Camping under it is Kevin Reyes for the out. 2 retired. So a ground out and a fly ball. 2 outs in the inning. It'll bring Scott Patterson to the plate. Scott, a veteran member of the Australian national team. Good power. A couple of home runs in that World Cup tournament last week. Ball taken inside. Little flare. That one's going to be out of play over on the right side. You'll notice looking at the field, the outfielders playing right around 200 feet away. That's that little ridge or the line where the women's fencing usually sits. And then the fence we set, 250 behind them. That went just off the plate outside. 2 balls and a strike on Patterson. Way inside, missed with that one. Hard one, grounded foul down the left side. Came inside, did Galarza. The field from the foul line to foul line in play is natural grass. You'll see almost hard to distinguish it, but it's turf along the foul lines towards the dugout. Very nicely maintained down there. That one's in the hole, can't get to it despite the effort by Correa. So Patterson aboard with the first runner for JDT. Got it out over the plate. You see in the replay, went deep in the hole. Correa with a good effort diving, but not able to come up with the ball. So JDT with a runner aboard. Jeff Lyons will be the batter. Jeff, the first baseman for this Ontario-based team. Swing and a miss. Away from the left-hander Lyons. Good pitch by Galarza. Good location on that one. That one sails to the backstop. It comes right back to Silverio, up with a quick throw, almost in time to get Patterson, but Patterson arriving ahead of the throw. Watch on the replay, you'll see it just goes straight back. Hello, thank you. Like someone fed him on the throw, and Patterson managing to hang on to the bag down there. So JDT with a runner in scoring position. Lyons trying to get him home. the count at 1-1. Ball off the plate outside. In for a called strike right at the letters. Good high, hard one from Galarza. Outfield straightaway, infield likewise. Corners even with the bag. Galarza checking the count. It is 2-2. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Lyons, and the Misfits escape trouble, leaving a runner stranded at second base. For JDT in the inning, no runs, a hit, a man left. We'll head to the top half of the second inning. We'll be back right after this. Via Arcos on top in this one, 1-0. Top half of the second inning for Via Arcos. They'll send 7, 8, 9 up to the plate. That'll be third baseman Santiago Giselles, shortstop Gendro Correa, and the right fielder Win Chabon. If they get someone aboard, Kevin Reyes at the top of the order would flip things back to another start. It was Reyes that got aboard and scored the game's lone run so far. McCullough struggled a little bit with control in the first inning. The first three batters for Via Arcos reached base. Reyes, the leadoff hitter, did come around to score, but McCullough able to work through and strand a couple. Right down the heart of Main Street with that one is McCullough. Swing and a miss late on that one, so down on strikes goes Giselles. Third strikeout of the game for McCullough. JDT, a new team for 2025. Part of a trio of teams from the Chippewa of the Thames area up in Canada. Bear Creek Express and Bear Creek Gremlins, of course, being the others. Three of the top 5 teams in the world rankings. We have the top 6 teams in the world rankings in this tournament. Swing and a miss late on that one on the rise ball is Correa. So the top 6 teams are here, plus another couple in the top 10. It's a 14-team double elimination matchup with a 3-game guarantee. So if you dropped a couple games right out of the box, you'd still play a third. Championship game set to go at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. We'll be with you all throughout the weekend. Hope you can stay with us. They appeal but don't get the call on the swing. Little slow roller down to third. It'll bounce foul and be put back in play by Leskowski. Swing and a miss late on that one. So McCullough settling in now. A couple of strikeouts the inning. That's 4 in the game thus far. And down to the 9 spot we go to Win Chabon, the right fielder for the Misfits. Chabon squared around, showing bunt. Pulls back and lays off the high one outside. Shows bunt again and pulls back. 0-2. Ball stays upstairs. Little lazy changeup stays downstairs. So McCullough, after striking out the first 2 hitters, goes 3-0 to the 9 hitter. And it stays upstairs. So 4 straight balls, kind of a different batting stance by Chabon, but McCullough not able to find the strike zone after setting the first 2 down in order on strikeouts. Back to the top of the order we go. Kevin Reyes with a base hit. His first time up, he scored the game's lone run. That was a gap shot that went all the way to the fence. Jordan Pomeroy having to chase it down. Swings from the heels, comes up empty on that one. Laced into the dugout or photographer's well downstairs on the third base side. My lovely wife Maddie down there with the camera in the photographer's well. That one just about took her out. Don't want to lose her this early in the tournament. Some great photos that you'll get a chance to see during the course of the weekend. That one's lifted foul. It's going to be out of play over on the third base side. So the Misfits come in as an unranked team going up against number 5 in the world, but do not seem the least bit intimidated thus far, playing very aggressive. Jumped out on top and trying to extend that lead. Off on the pitch is Chabon, slides in and tags himself out. Brock Attewell, little diving snare and catches the ball, drops the tag on Chabon, and the side retired. So for the Misfits, they send just 3 men to the plate. No hits, nobody left, no runs in the inning. We'll head to the home half of the second inning, get our second look at JDT. We'll be right back. You're watching the 2025 USA Softball Men's Major National Championship right here on Softball Premier TV. Home half of the second inning for JDT. They'll send up Jonathan Lynch, Justin Leskowski, and Braden Ducharme. We mentioned JDT, largely a team of Canadians. A couple of notable exceptions we will see this inning. Lynch and Ducharme, both members of the USA national team. USA Softball, of course, the host of this tournament and this facility. Jonathan, a veteran member of that national team. Good aggressive hitter. Had 5 hits in last week's World Cup, 2 of those for home runs, so good power regardless of where he bats in the order. Laskowski will follow, and then Braden Ducharme, one of the 2 Ducharme brothers on that USA team. Lifted high, that one's going to be up over the top of us. We are up on the 2nd or 3rd floor, depending on how you count. That one up and over. Hard ground ball, it's in the hole, diving stop at short. He won't get him over at first base, but great job by Correa to flag that one down. Too much speed in Jonathan Lynch to get him on that one, so Jonathan aboard with a leadoff single. That'll bring up Leskowski. Shows bunt, pulls back. Lynch not going anywhere. Getting a word or two from veteran coach Larry Lynch down there on the first base side is Lynch. Great speed, very aggressive on the bases, so would not be surprised to see something in play, trying to get that run back. He shows bunt, pulls back, but it's in for a called strike. Primarily hard stuff thus far by Galarza for Villa Arcos. That one stays upstairs. Foul. That one's going to be out of play over on the left side up in the upper deck. Laced into center field. That's in for a base hit. Lynch going station to station. Throw comes back in behind him at second, so he'll stay put. Good clean single for Leskowski. That'll put runners at first and second for Braden Ducharme. Braden, one of two brothers, twins on the USA team. Braden, a youngster, getting limited play, but did get into a couple of games in that World Cup up in Prince Albert last week. So the count at 0-1. Time is called. A conference in the circle for the Via Arcos Misfits. First real scoring opportunity for JDT here in the early going. Patterson reached on a 2-out single, but languished at first base. Right now it's good speed and Jonathan Lynch at second base. Justin Leskowski over at first. Ducharme with a chance to even the table. Great speed has Ducharme. Not sure they're looking to sacrifice as much as just another base hit. Didn't look to be giving himself up on that last one. Shows bunt again. Everybody moving. Shortstop Correa over to third. Second baseman Bambuzzi bird dogging Lynch back to second base. So the count at 1-2 now on Braden Ducharme. Lifted into left field, fairly deep. Back on it for the catch is Corte. Lynch alertly tagging up. He'll slide into third base safely, and time is called. So an out recorded, but Lynch taking 60 feet on it. He'll be over at third with Leskowski at first base. Here's Brock Attewell. Ball off the plate outside. That one's in on the outside part of the plate for a called strike. 2 balls and 1 on Brock Attewell. Cameron Watts, the 9 hitter, waiting in the wings. One hopper bobble down at third, comes up with it, and the throw dropped over at first. So Attewell aboard on the error. Charge it to third, even though the drop throw at first would have been. So JDT now with the bases loaded down to the 9 spot. Cameron Watts with a chance to get his team even or maybe put them on top. That's going to bring a visit from skipper Prado out to Galarza. So back to the action we go. JDT with runners on every base. No place to put Watts. One out in the inning. Misfits looking for 2 here. Off the plate, taken away. Ball off the plate outside. Galarza, a pretty hard thrower, a little reminiscent perhaps of Waymol Mata, built similarly. Same sort of delivery to the plate. Corners even with the bag. A little slow roller to short. They'll come to the plate, throws it away. 1 run is in. Here comes the second. And JDT on top by a 2-1 score. He got the ball in time to make the play at the plate. Watch the replay here. Sort of a slow roller. He's got the runner dead to right, but throws it away. And then another runner comes home with nobody covering. So 2 runs in, Lynch and Leskowski puts JDT on top by a 2-1 score. Attewell, meanwhile, or Watts heading down to second base after the fielder's choice. And he'll give way to a pinch runner on the 2-out catcher rule. Back to the top of the shop we go to Gendre Torres. Little liner foul down the right side. Eschaveste gets a glove on it, but we mentioned Torres, the top hitter at that World Cup tournament last week, 692, 9 hits in 13 at-bats, had a couple of walks to boot, so on base 11 times, accounting for a good part of that Dominican Republic offense. Takes one inside for a ball. It is Attewell down at third. Pinch runner at second. Still just 1 out in the inning. High hopper, that one's going to find its way into right field. Attewell comes in with 1. Right behind him is the runner with another. And meanwhile, Torres all the way around to third base as the ball comes in slowly. So a 2-run single for Gendre Torres, you'll see on the replay. Defense for the Misfits letting them down a little bit in this inning, so 4 runs in for JDT. They take the lead. Torres still down at third with just 1 out, and it's Jordan Pomeroy's second look. He flied to center his first time up. In for a called strike. The errant throw at home with the bases loaded could have been a force play, maybe even 2. A costly mistake for these Misfits. Laced into center field, but coming on and making the catch is Kevin Reyes. I think they're going to go back to third and appeal it. Silverio is pointing to third. Looked like Torres got a pretty good jump after the catch, but no out recorded except the one in center field. So Pomeroy out on the fly ball, but the sac fly gets home another. 5-1 now, JDT on top. Swing and a miss by Scott Patterson. Looked like Galarza might have taken a little bit off of that one. One of the few change-ups if he did. Patterson, as we said, good power. Veteran of the Australian national team. So 4 countries represented on this JDT squad, primarily Canadian, but Patterson, the Australian, Lynch and Ducharme, the Americans, and Gendry Torres, the pickup for this tournament from the Dominican Republic. Lifted down to left field, playable. Taking a step back and then a couple of steps in is List Corte. He comes in and catches the can of corn out in left field, side retired. But not before JDT hangs a 5 spot on the scoreboard. They lead 5-1. We'll be back with more. You're watching the 2025 USA Softball Men's Major National Championship from Oklahoma City. Back with the top of the third inning and back to the top of the order for the Via Arcos Misfits from Houston, Texas. It'll be Kevin Reyes followed by Juan Cruz Bambosi and List Corte. It was Reyes that started things off, hit a gap shot in left center field. A couple of skip hops to the fence. He came around to score the first run. Misfits coming out very aggressively in that first inning, put the very first 3 batters aboard before McCullough settled down. He limited the damage to 1. And now JDT with a big 5 spot playing, I think, the game more of the fans perhaps expected at this point. The Misfits come in unranked, JDT 5, number 5 in the world, with a world caliber pitcher in the circle, Devin McCullough. Down on the sidelines, a little bit of action in the bullpen, or maybe just getting in some work. McCullough has really settled in since then, had a couple of strikeouts in the second inning. It's a 3M pitching staff: McCullough, Mannion, and Mazulakwa from Botswana, the third pitcher on their roster. Numbers 1 and 2, Hill United and the Gremlins will start play tomorrow. They open up with 10 a.m. games. A little hopper up the middle over nicely to make the play is Braden Ducharme. 6-3 on the scorecard if you're keeping it with us at home. The Gremlins, of course, chasing history here in Devon Park. They are a 9-time winner of this USA Men's Major Tournament. If they could get number 10, they would tie the all-time record set over the years by the Clearwater Bombers. So something to watch as the tournament goes on. A little pop-up on the bunt attempt by Bambuzzi. He's retired. On the pop-up to third, Laskowski. Squeeze in the glove for out number 2. Liz Corte will step in now. Ball stays upstairs. Last year's final finish was the Gremlins winning it in Rockford, Michigan. The Oma Tigres were the Cinderella team in that one. They finished second, knocking off Hill United, who finished third in last year's event. 2 of those 3 back here this year. The Oma Tigres are not. Oma Tigres in that tournament dropped their very first game and then came back and rattled off 5 wins, including the upset over Hill United. That roster aided very much so by 3 members of the Japanese national team. For those of you that might have missed it, I don't think there are many, but anyone that might have missed it, World Cup Venezuela coming away with gold, New Zealand silver, and the USA bronze last week in Prince Albert. A little slow roller, Ducharme will come in, make a nice nifty clean play. So 3 consecutive ground balls, 3 consecutive outs, and Devin McCullough makes easy work of the Misfits. To the home half of the third we go. JDT on top in this one, 5-1 in this opening night game in Devon Park. Home half of the third inning for JDT. They'll send up 4, 5, and 6. Jeff Lyons, followed by Jonathan Lynch and Justin Laskowski. Jamie Simpson, the skipper for this JDT squad. Larry Lynch over on the first base side, long-time coach and as knowledgeable about the game as anyone. "40-foot drop. That one bounces in front of the plate. Not the release point that Galarza wanted. Has a little laugh, I think, at himself on that one. Lyons hails from the Glencoe, Ontario region. Laced back up the middle, just about took Galarza out with that one. Watch the replay. Lucky to not be in front of that one. Line shot by Lyons. Here you see it on the replay. Hard one right back. Might have even been between the wickets. Here's Jonathan Lynch. Lynch from Cape Girardeau, if I'm saying that correctly, Missouri, in the heartland of America. Shows bunt, pulls back, and a quick snap throw down to first by Silverio. They've had a couple, 3 defensive miscues, have the Misfits, but they are staying aggressive. Silverio not shy about making that snap throw down to first base. Little two-hopper down to third. They go to second, get the leader. So he raced on the 5-4 putout. Is Lyons. And now down at first base with good speed on the fielder's choice, Jonathan Lynch. Here's Justin Laskowski. Justin with a base hit his first time up. Justin from Warmont, Saskatoon. Saskatoon, as we mentioned, hosted the pre-World Cup tournament the week before. Team Canada coming away the winner of that Four Nations Cup. New Zealand, USA, Japan, and Canada. McCullough, the starter in this one, still in the game, pitched very well in that tournament. He was a big part of the reason that they came away the winner. Saskatoon, of course, a big fastball community there. They were the host of the 2015 World Cup 10 years ago when Canada won gold. They were hoping to repeat on Canadian soil in Prince Albert last week. Just not to be. Swing and a miss, down on strikes goes Laskowski. So the second out recorded. And that'll bring Braden Ducharme to the plate. Ducharme retired in his first trip to the plate, a fly ball out to right field. Not really his game to be hitting long fly balls. Showed bunt on almost every pitch last time up. Great speed. Anything on the ground, he's going to be a tough out. Ball high, gets away from Silverio. He still throws late. Lynch already into second base. Watch, you'll see on the replay, Lynch had the base. Silverio had the ball get away, but still fired a high strike. In for a called strike. That one in at the letters inside part of the plate. Way off the plate outside. So Galarza falls behind 3-1. First base open, but down to the bottom of the order, doesn't want to put any more runners aboard, already trailing in this one 5-1. Foul tipped that one back to the screen. The outfield for the Misfits playing fairly deep for Ducharme. All three standing right about the 200 mark where the women's fencing normally sits. So the count full on Ducharme. Little lazy changeup on the outside edge. They appeal to third, don't get the call. So Ducharme with good speed down at first. Lynch likewise with good speed now at second. And Brock Attewell will be the batter. Attewell reached in his first trip to the plate, now with an opportunity to cash in another for JDT. Misses inside with a hard one, does Galarza. Swing and a miss on the rise ball. That one stays upstairs, so the count 2-1. That one's lifted foul and out of play. Two pitch misses off the plate outside, so the count runs full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nine-hitter Cameron Watts would be next. Galarza trying to get the final out of this inning. Off the plate outside, so Attewell aboard on a walk. He's on for the second time tonight. That'll load the bases again for JDT. It was the bases loaded situation last inning that got the Misfits in trouble. They had a ground ball in the infield. Could have been a clean force out at home, but the throw went wide and 2 runs checked in. And that's sort of where the wheels came off for the Misfits. Looks like we may have a pitching change here. No skipper coming out, but Galarza surrendering the ball will give them a chance to take their warm-ups, and we'll report back to you right after this. So a pitching change for the Misfits, via Arcos Misfits. It'll be Mariano Pelletay, P-E-L-E-T-A-Y, if you're keeping a scorecard with us. So Galarza through the first 2 2/3. The runners aboard, all 3 of them belong to him, so we can't close the book on him yet. Pelletay, a well-built right-hander. We'll try and get that final out for the Misfits. That one's in for a called strike. The batter's Cameron Watts, the 9-hitter, so Gendry Torres would be next if he could reach. That one's lifted high and down the right field line. It's going to be out of play. Giving chase is Win Chabon, the right fielder for the Misfits. Runs out of real estate down there in the corner. Off in the distance, we see some of the players, the teams for the 8 p.m. game. That one will feature the Northeast Drillers, the number 3 ranked team in the world. They'll be taking on the St. Louis Honey Badgers. Meanwhile, Pelletay gets a called third strike call against Watts. And the side retired, JDT, strands 3 in the inning. No runs scored. We'll head to the 4th. We'll be back right after this. You're watching the 2025 USA Softball Men's Major National Championship from Devon Park in OKC. We'll be right back.
It's time to explore the
top half of the 4th inning for the Misfits. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 in their batting order. That's Fausto Silverio, the catcher, followed by first baseman Juan Echeveste and Lucas Galarza, or whoever winds up in that order. He gave way to Pelletay to finish the inning. He was batting for himself, the pitcher, Lucas Galarza, so we'll keep an eye and see who winds up re-entering. Meanwhile, a little work in the bullpen on the JDT side. In for a called strike. Devin McCullough, the starter for JDT, settling in after that first inning. JDT hung a 5 spot in the second, still with a commanding 5-1 lead as we start the 4th. Swing and a miss late is Silverio. McCullough will lull you to sleep with the changeup and then turn up the dial as he did on that pitch. There's the changeup, a little slow roller to second. Attewell, nice little shovel throw over to first to Lyons. And the first out recorded, 4-3 on the putout. Other than the walk to the 9-hitter, McCullough has retired all of the Misfits ever since the first 3 reached base against him in the first. Last 4 outs, all of the ground ball variety. Grounder to short, grounder to third, another grounder to short, and the last one here in this inning, a grounder to second. Echeveste lifts it high and shallow center field. It'll be Pomeroy calling everyone else off. He'll make the catch for the out. 2 outs in the inning. And Pelletier, the pitcher who came on for Garza, will indeed bat in his spot. So both pitchers swinging the bat for Villa Arcos. Swing and a miss on an inside rise from McCullough. Incidentally, you can close the book on Galarza. The 5 runs charged to him, the 3 runners that were aboard when he left the game. Pelletier did him the courtesy of getting him out of trouble. So still 5-1. Swing and a miss late on the rise ball. Good hard one from McCullough. So after 5 straight ground balls, fires through a hard one for the strikeout. 3 up and down, easy inning for Devin McCullough. For the Misfits, no runs, no hits, nobody left. To the home half of the 4th we go. Still JDT on top in this one, 5-1. We'll be back with more great action from Devon Park in OKC. You're watching the 2025 Men's Major USA Softball. Bottom half of the 4th inning, top of the order for JDT. That means Mr. Torres, Gendre Torres, the DP for JDT. Torres, as we said, hails from the Dominican Republic. He's been aboard once tonight, 2 RBI single his last trip to the plate. Grounded back to the pitcher. Both of those at-bats were against Galarza, so he'll get his first look at Mariano Pelletier. In for a called strike on the outside part of the plate. Torres doesn't swing especially hard, just looking to make contact, and plenty of that he does. Very controlled batting stance. Looks at that one on the outside edge, still looking for a pitch he likes. Now at 2-2. Off the plate outside. Just misses with that one, does Pelletier. See a little bit of a weight shift there with the front foot as he rocks back. There, the knee bent, and he'll take that one for ball 4. And Mr. Torres is aboard for the second time today. He'll be down at first base with nobody out. Jordan Pomeroy will be the batter. Scott Patterson to follow. Pomeroy, a couple of fly outs to center field. The last one, a sac fly, brought home the 5th run. Shows bunt, pulls back. Torres stays at first. Silverio doing a pretty good job behind home plate. A very agile catcher back there. No moss growing under his shoes. Looks at that one in for a ball. Pomeroy and Torres looking over at the skipper, Jamie Simpson, down at third for the sign. Check swing, a little foul tip off the screen, so the count will be even at 1-1. Five runs on 5 hits for this JDT team. Misfits 1 run on just 2 hits against Devin McCullough. Off the plate, but on the edge for a called strike. Shallow center field. Coming on is Kevin Reyes. He'll make the catch. Staying right in place at first is Torres. So with the fly out for the first one, Scott Patterson will step in. Scott 1 for 2 on the night, a single and a fly out to left field his last time up. Pelletier, similar to the starter Galarza, just comes right at the hitters. Not too much mystery there. Comes with the hard stuff. Misses down and in with that one for a ball. Outfielders are straight away standing right at the 200-foot mark where the women's fencing normally is. A little slow roller down to third. It'll come back on a foul. A little liner off the foot of Pelletier, sort of kicks it as he tries to knock it down. Both infielders on the left side. I think a little bit of a collision. We'll watch the replay, but no play is made, so Patterson aboard on a base hit. There you watch the replay. Like he tried to do a little kick save there. Ball winds up in between the other two infielders. Looked like one of them might have stepped on the foot of the other or a collision. Let's watch it again on the replay. Yeah, just off his head. I think they bumped heads trying to chase the ball down. Regardless, Patterson's aboard at first. Torres now at second. It looks like third baseman Santiago Giselles is the one who took the worst of that little collision, holding his face or his head as he tries to regroup. Doesn't look like he'll be leaving the game, but I think they both leaned over or bent over and tried to reach for the ball at the same time and knocking noggins. So Patterson aboard at first base. A hit in my book. I suppose you could score an error, but the ball was hit away from the pitcher Pelletier. Just didn't have it really a chance to get to it. Here's Jeff Lyons. Lyons 1 for 2 on the night. Struck out his first time up and then a single last time up. Ball off the plate outside. JDT would like to notch a few more runs and maybe an inning shortened game if they could. It's a long weekend, double elimination play. Always looking to save your pitchers and your players some innings if you can in a long weekend tournament like this. Not a set schedule of pool play games. You get in that loser's bracket, you may play all day. Meanwhile, the ball's off the plate for a walk to Lyons, so that will once again load the bases for JDT. Third time they've done that tonight. The starter Galarza managed to get out of one of these jams, bases loaded jams initially, but it was the errant throw on what looked like an easy force out that opened the floodgates for JDT and that 5-run second. Here's Jonathan Lynch at the plate now with a chance to cash in a few. Slightly built left-hander, but plenty of power. Has surprised more than a pitcher or two. Foul tip off the screen for a strike. That one skips to the screen, but Silverio up and grabs it. Runs Torres back to third while he was at it. Good glove work by Silverio. Silverio laughing a bit as he comes back behind the plate to the home plate umpire as if to say, where was that pitch going? Still bases loaded, one out for Lynch. Hard grounder to first, bobbles it, picks it up. Not sure if he stepped on the bag, still looking for a call down there at first, but I guess held on to it long enough. Lynch coming back over to the dugout. So a run checks in, Lynch with the fielder's choice. Let's watch the replay. Echeveste making the out on Lynch, second and third now for JDT. With Torres checking in with run number 6. And Justin Leskowski getting another look. This is first at Pelletier, though. 1 for 2 on the night, a single to center, and a strikeout his last time up. His first at-bat right now against Pelletier. A little roller down to third, comes up with it, makes the throw, and the side retired. So Pelletier pitches out of trouble, gives up the 1 run. JDT now with a 6-1 lead as we head to the top half of the 5th inning for the Misfits. You're watching the 2025 USA Softball Men's Major National Championship at Devon Park in Oklahoma City. I'm Jim Flanagan. I'll be right back with more action. Don't go away. Top of the 5th inning, pitching change for JDT. It's Johnny Suriel coming on in place of Devin McCullough. McCullough really settled in after that first inning. The first 3 batters reached base. After that, he faced the minimum. Set down the next 3 in a row in that first inning, and then in the second, he did walk the 9-hitter, but he was erased on a throw at second, so he faced the minimum. And then a 1-2-3 third and a 1-2-3 fourth. So really 2 different Devin McCulloughs tonight. The first inning version for the first 3 batters, and then the McCullough that we're more accustomed to. 7-8-9 for the Misfits. So it's Giselles, Correa, and Chabon. Giselles a strikeout victim in his first and only at-bat. Meanwhile, steps out as Suriel lets go. Swing and a miss late on that one. Good drop ball from Suriel. So second time tonight, Santiago down on strikes. Gendro Correa will be the batter. Correa also a strikeout victim in his first and only at-bat. That also against Devin McCullough. Little sidewinder just misses away. Suriel leaning in with a little bit of body English as if to say he thought he caught the corner on that one, but it was off the plate. Or not. 0-2 on the board showing. Foul tip. It'll be 0-2 regardless. Sun setting here in Oklahoma City. Center fielder and right fielder. Pomeroy and Lynch still in sun. Everyone else pretty much in shade here. Just missed on that one. Another one of those little swerves on the outside edge. Some more pleading from Suriel. Thought he had that one. 2-2 now, the count. Swing and a miss on a beauty. That one breaking left to right on your dial away from the right-hander. Beautiful pitch by Johnny Suriel. So 2 batters, 2 strikeouts for the reliever. It'll be Win Chabon with that interesting stance. He worked it for a 4-pitch walk against McCullough, then got a race trying to steal second. 85 degrees or thereabouts Fahrenheit at game time. I think that falls right under the 30 Celsius mark. Temperatures have been running in the 90s, low 90s, I think 95 Fahrenheit today, 35 Celsius. So a pretty warm week ahead for the players. Just off the plate. Riley Mannion, the third or one of the other pitchers for JDT, getting loose down on the sideline. Just soft toss at this point. Nice changeup. Stays up though, so the count runs 3-1. Foul tip runs the count full, 3-2. Foul tip back to the screen. Lynch out in right field, playing Chabon very deep, past the 200-foot mark out there. I'm not quite sure why. Pomeroy almost the same in center field. Only Patterson a little more shallow in left field. That one's in for a called third. So all Johnny Suriel did was strike out the side. 3 up, down, and down for the Misfits. No runs, no hits, no one left. To the home half of the 5th we go. JDT on top 6-1. Opening night here in Devon Park. We'll be back with more great action. Men's Major. Bottom half of the 5th inning for JDT. It'll be 7, 8, and 9. That means Ducharme, Attewell, and Watts. 5-run margin right now. JDT would like to notch a few more. Maybe close out this game against the Misfits. They've been in command since that 5-run second inning. A bit of a scare in the top of the 1st. The Misfits came out aggressive, scored a run. It was not until the 4th batter that McCullough was able to record an out, but shut things down very easily after that. Swing and down on strikes goes Ducharme. So here's Brock Attewell, 1 for 2 on the night, a base hit and a strikeout, looking in his last trip to the plate. That was the last batter that Galarza, the starter, faced. Actually, no, that was Pelletier. That was the out recorded when he came in with the loaded bases. In for a strike on the outside part of the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Strike 3 called on the outside part of the plate, and Pelletier sets down another 2 up and 2 down, like his counterpart Suriel, who came in and struck out the side. It'll be up to Cameron Watts trying to get something going. 0 for 2, fielder's choice, and a strikeout. 40-foot drop. That one skips by Silverio. Pelletier shopping for a ball he likes, has one now, and will go back and reset. 2 outs in the inning, nobody aboard. Riley Mannion continuing to soft toss down on the left side. In for a called strike right at the letters. Another 40-foot drop. One hopper down to third, up with it and over to first base. Watch the replay off his foot, I presume. I'll let you sort that one out. Ball high, so the count runs full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. That one sails to the screen, so after working the count full, Watts finds himself at first base. And that'll take us back to the top of the order to Gendre Torres. Watts the catcher, so on the 2-out catcher rule, he will give way to a runner. I believe that's Dallas Kipfer. Left early, out on the call. The runner actually was Chase Campbell in to run for Watts on the 2-out catcher rule. Got a little bit of a head start on that one. Watch the replay. You'll see, he's off before the ball's close. Not close at all. Side retired, 6-1. JDT will head to the 6th. Don't go away. Want to see the end of this one? You're watching the 2025 USA Softball Men's Major National Championship right here in Oklahoma City. Top half of the 6th inning for the Misfits. It's getting late, down to their final 6 outs now. JDT with a 5 spot back in the 2nd. That really was the game in a nutshell. That one's a little flare single, though, to lead things off. So Reyes now with a couple of hits on the night. Had the hard line drive that went all the way to the fence in the gap in left center to open the game. He scored their only run and leads off the inning here in the 6th with a clean single. Here's Bambuzzi, or excuse me, Cruz in. In for a called strike. It is Bambuzzi. It's one Cruz Bambuzzi. Cruz on the jersey, Bambuzzi on the lineup card. A little flare down the left field line. JDT still with a chance to play an inning shortened game if they can put a couple on the board in their half of the 6th. But they would like to keep Reyes from coming around to score. Bambuzzi aboard in that first inning. Grounded to 3rd last time up. That one gets away from the catcher, goes to the screen. So Reyes now down at second base in scoring position for the Misfits. No 20-second clock in sight in this one. Coming up at 8 p.m. or scheduled 8 p.m. start will be the Northeast Drillers taking on the St. Louis Honey Badgers. That one's scheduled at 8. I would say that start time is going to be a little bit later as this one drags on. That one off the plate outside, so Bambuzi aboard on a walk. So after striking out the side in the 5th inning, Suriel runs into a bit of trouble here. Reyes with a single, Bambuzi with the walk, and List Corte will step in. Swing and a miss late on the good hard one from Suriel. Off the plate away, they appeal the call and don't get it down at third. Laced into the hole, the 5.5 hole, station to station. Reyes will get to third and hold. Good defense by Scott Patterson out in left field. Watch the replay. Right in the hole, and Patterson coming on quickly, runs it back in, makes sure nobody goes anywhere. So the Misfits now with the potential for another big inning. Bases loaded and nobody out. Infield in, looking to cut off the run, maybe turn a couple. Suriel came out like gangbusters last inning with 3 consecutive strikeouts. Looks like a little different pitcher here in this inning. Not getting the location or the velocity that he was last inning. There it is. Swing and a miss on a good hard one on the outside edge. Good movement on that pitch, moving from the center of the plate outside and away from the right-hander. Suriel, just 24 years of age, from the Dominican Republic. That one's fouled straight back to the screen. Swing and a miss on a good location pitch on the outside edge. So a big strikeout for Suriel. 1 out. Bases still loaded for the Misfits. And it'll be up to Echeveste, the first baseman, to try and cash in the runners. Echeveste 0 for 2 on the night, a ground out and a fly out to center. Suriel pitched 10 innings in the World Cup last week for the Dominican Republic. Struggled a bit, but at age 24, still finding his way. Ground ball to second. Attewell smothers it, goes to first, takes the out, and gives up the run. So a big second out for JDT. Runners now at second and third. And it'll be the pitcher Pelletier with a chance to help himself. Good defense by Brock Attewell, making sure of the out. Sure-handed second baseman. Off the plate away. Watts trying to frame that one as a strike. Almost, Cameron. Swing and a miss on a good pitch, good hard one from Suriel. That one's lifted down the right field line, giving chase over there as Jonathan Lynch slides in safely in the warning track area in foul territory. Good effort by Jonathan. Always 110% from Jonathan, no matter the score. No balls and 2 strikes to Pelletier. Suriel trying to close things out here in the 6th. Ball upstairs high. They appeal. They do not get the call. Little extra velocity on that pitch. So the count now at 1-2. Swing and a miss. Big roundhouse rise. Down on strikes he goes. Suriel closes things out, escapes any more damage. The Misfits pick up a run. We'll head to the bottom half of the 6th inning. The score now 6-2 JDT. We'll be back with more great action from the men's major tournament, USA Softball, here at Devon Park. Bottom half of the 6th inning for JDT. We're back to the top of the order. That means Gendry Torres, followed by Jordan Pomeroy and Scott Patterson. Pitching change, third pitcher coming in for the Misfits. Looks like Leonido Bress, B-R-E-S-S. Last name on the scorecard reversed, but the name on the back says Bress, so we will go with that, B-R-E-S-S. Torres 2 for 3 on the night. Ground out to the pitcher his first time up. 2 RBI single in his second, and then walked in his third trip to the plate. He was at the plate when Chase Campbell was called out for leaving early in the prior inning. So we'll reset with Torres back at the plate. Bress sending his glove back to the dugout. I didn't think he was going to pitch without it. They send him a new one. Or a different one anyway. Hard swing. That one's fouled off the screen. So a couple of players from the Dominican Republic on this mostly Canadian squad, JDT. Torres at the plate, and of course Johnny Suriel pitching in relief. We see more and more talented players coming from the Dominican Republic. They were one of the 8 finalists in the World Cup last week. A little flare, but not going to be deep enough to get away from shortstop Gendro Correa. So the first out recorded on the pop-up there you see on the replay, just a little lazy swing, didn't really get too much of the ball. Correa back to haul it in. Here's Pomeroy. Laced into right center field for a base hit. I was just going to tell you that Pomeroy had flied out to center, and flied out to center. Finds himself some territory on that one, so he's aboard with a single. Good speed has Pomeroy. Scott Patterson looks down at the skipper for a sign. Ball stays up. Pomeroy still looking over at third for the signs. That one goes to the screen, and Suriel gets another Sunday hop, throws down to second, but not in time. Silverio, the catcher. That one's fouled straight back to the screen below us. JDT had the one big inning, the 5 spot in the second, where they really knocked the ball around. Since then, have not really been able to string too many hits together in the same inning. They would, I'm sure, like to add an insurance run or get the run back. They just surrendered to the Misfits. Laced down the line, just foul. That would have been an easy double for Patterson. Ball high, so that'll run the count full on Patterson now, 3-2. Pomeroy with good speed, looking in from second, trying to peer over the shoulder of Bress. Patterson thought it was inside, but down on strikes he goes on a called third. So it'll be Jeff Lyons stepping in. Two outs in the inning now for JDT. Lyons a single back in the third. Little change-up stays upstairs for a ball. Ball off the plate outside, 2-0. Changeup stays upstairs, 3-0. Bress is the third pitcher for the Misfits. They started the game with Galarza. He gave way to Pelletier, and now Bress, the third of three pitchers. That one's in for a called strike. On his way to first was Lyons. Thought he had a walk. Three balls, one strike to Jeff Lyon. That one is off the plate, taken for ball 4 by Lyon, so he's aboard at first. Pomeroy still at second base. Jonathan Lynch will step in again. Lynch with a single and a couple fielders' choices in the game. Had that hit back in that 5-run second inning for JDT. Checks his swing. They appeal. They don't get the call. 2-0 now to Lynch. That one's lifted out into right field. Looks to be playable. Back on it to make the catch, Win Chabon for the final out. So no runs in for JDT. They'll head out to the 7th, needing just 3 outs to close things out here. We'll be back with more.
It's time to explore.
Top half of the 7th inning and last call for the Via Arcos Misfits from Houston, Texas. They'll start things off with 7-8-9, Santiago Giselles, Gendry Correa, and Win Chabon. They need 4 to get even. JDT with 6 runs on 7 hits, no errors. The Misfits with 2 runs on 4 hits and 3 errors. The one we talked about before, probably the most costly of the game, came with the bases loaded. What looked to be a ground ball out, force out at the plate. The throw was wide, 2 runs checked in, and it turned into a 5 spot for JDT. Misfits have never really been able to recover from that. Suriel with a good slider away from the right-hander. A little extra oomph on that one. Down on strikes goes Giselles for the first out. Coming up after this one, the Northeast Drillers, number 3 ranked team in the world, will take on the St. Louis Honey Badgers. That'll be on this diamond. There'll be a break in between. We're past the 8 o'clock scheduled start, but I'm sure they'll get that one going quickly, so keep an eye on Softball Premier TV on YouTube for the reset. Correa, the shortstop, looks at one on the outside edge. Good location by Suriel. Suriel came on in relief of Devin McCullough, who pitched very well, other than a little hiccup in the first inning. Wound up facing the minimum after that, in control of things, lots of ground outs. Suriel came in and struck out the side, then struggled a little bit in his second inning, but has settled back down. Good pitch, same result as the first hitter. Down on strikes goes Correa. So 2 outs in the book. Suriel, Johnny Suriel of the Dominican Republic, looking to close things out, help his team advance in the bracket here in the men's major. Here's Chabon. Looks at a changeup. That one just a little bit high. Chabon with that same stance that he has utilized all night. Worked it for a 4-pitch walk against McCullough back in the third. Foul tip. He squares around, not really making much of an attempt to bunt. He always pulls the bat back, and just seems like a little difficult when you put yourself in that spot. It's hard to get the bat moving in the right direction again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss late on that one, so he's down on strikes, and Suriel does as he did the first inning. He came in, strikes out the side. That's the ball game, folks. Final score here, JDT First Energy 6, and the Via Arcos Misfits. T will move on in the winner's bracket. We're going to close up shop here and get ready for that 8 p.m. game. Don't miss it. Some great action. Northeast Drillers taking on the St. Louis Honey Badgers. You've been watching the 2025 USA Softball Men's Major National Championship. I'm Jim Flanagan. We'll see you back for the next one.
It's time.